Yes, hello. Bernard Mwanguzi is my name, an ICT Connect member, and in today's video, we are going to basically look at on how we can set up our working environments for a web designing project. This video is for you, an ICT teacher who is finding challenges on how you can set up your computer lab and have your learners to start designing websites. So in this video, yes, of course, we'll be working with WordPress as the content management system for designing this website, and maybe in the other coming videos I'll be showing you on how we can use the Microsoft Expression web builder, and also on how we can basically use the basic HTML together with the CSS5, in fact 3, not 5, HTML5 and CSS3 to design our websites. But with this video, we are going to basically look at how we can set up our environment so that we can start designing our websites from scratch, but using content management system called WordPress. So with me on the desktop here, I have a folder with a server and a CMS with the content management system, the theme, and plugins. Okay, so we are going to first install the server and then later on configure it with WordPress. So if we all know some already established, let me say, businesses, charity organizations, churches, mission, they have websites, but these websites can be accessed or can be seen or observed online. For instance, like the Mkwano company, like government institutions, like the Ministry of Education, they have a website, but it can be seen while we are online simply by, maybe let me access my Microsoft Edge. I use Google as a search engine. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Then ministry, or just put in ESC, Education Service Commission. Okay, so you see they have a website, but this website to access it is already hosted. So they designed it and then they hosted it. So with the ministry's website, which is already hosted with the domain of esc.go.ug, for us, we're also going to set up our own environment whereby afterwards, when everything is done, it can be hosted on the web servers like this one here, which is already hosted and can be accessed globally. Okay, so in this case, we are going to use the XAMPP server. Others can choose to use the WAMP, the MAMP, the LAMP. All those are servers. So basically, we should know and understand why do we need to first configure a server, and of what reason or of what importance is this server. Okay, so allow me highlight some few reasons as to why we need this server configured with WordPress, because all this is because of the WordPress's make. Because WordPress was designed whereby it cannot work alone. It cannot work as a standalone program which you install and start, like the same way you see Microsoft Expression. So why XAMPP? This is because XAMPP is perfect in mimicking the web server. For example, for you to work best with the WordPress, you have to first be having the the Aperture, the MySQL, the PHP. So how XAMPP supports WordPress first is the Aperture, because it's the web server that serves your WordPress site, and then because of the MySQL, which is the database server where WordPress stores all its data, including the posts, the users, and the settings, Again, because of the PHP, that programming language that WordPress was built with, and then the PHP my admin. So a web-based tool included in the XAMPP for managing MySQL databases easily. Okay, so let us start right away. So I'm going to access my folder, and then this is my server here, and I'm going to launch it. But before launching it, first deactivate any of your antiviruses. So on my case, I'm having XAMPP, and I'm going to I'm having SmartDAV, and I'm going to deactivate it. Right click and say exit. Okay, continue with a yes. Okay, so if you don't know how you can or where to get the XAMPP from, simply again go to Google. Okay, go to Google, type in free download XAMPP server. So use this site which has apachefriends.org. You click. Okay, so since we are using a Windows operating system, on my case I'm using Windows 11, so download amongst these three options depending on the PHP version of your preference, and also depending on the WordPress release or the WordPress version you are having, because at times most of the updates that are done on WordPress, they come with an updated version of a PHP. So therefore, you can download this first option depending on your preferences and system requirements. Okay, so with those that have Windows 7, again you also look for the preferred. You just type in free download XAMPP server for Windows 7. Maybe if it's a 32 architecture bit, also you download that. You just put in the keywords. Okay, now we proceed. Okay, we proceed. Okay, so this is my folder. So I will right click and run it as an administrator. Okay, run as an administrator. Okay, so with the USC, again, we simply say okay. If we see the screen, simply say okay, and then we next. So we check all these options if they are not checked by default, and then we say next, and then next. Okay. Okay. So okay. 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 Okay, so the installation process will take about some few minutes. So I will pause this video as the installation takes place, and I will come back when the installation is done. Okay, so far so good, our installation is done, and then we have this screen. So with this screen, it's telling us that do you want to start the control panel now? Okay, if we start, because as you see, we have a checkbox already ticked. But if I untick and I say finish, yes, it will not start. Okay, so what is that control panel? That control panel, when it launches, we start the PHP. Okay, we start the Aperture and MySQL, as I've already explained briefly. There you go. So I want us to say finish. Okay, so I want us to say finish, and then by default I'm going to show you how you can launch that control, that XAMPP control. Okay, so here below you see this search. You can type XAMPP. Okay, XAMPP. So you see, so we have XAMPP control here. You can say open all. Let me see. We have also another option. So I know that we cannot fail. So in this, you click in this PC. You look for where there is. This, are you saying this local disk C? Because the partition where the operating system was installed. So you open it. Okay. So after installing XAMPP, it creates a special folder or a special directory called with the name of XAMPP. So we open this folder, and then we scroll down up to where we see XAMPP control. It is about 3.21 MBs. Okay, so we open it. It has XAMPP control. After opening it, we start the aperture. Okay, we start the aperture, so the ports will be allocated. Okay, and also we start my SQL. So by default, if your machine had never, experienced the installation of XAMPP before, and it was your first time installing the XAMPP server there, when you start the aperture, there is a pop-up screen that will tell you to allow access to the Windows firewall. Okay, so you just allow access. Again, as the same applies to MySQL. When you start, it will also it will also throw that pop-up screen onto your face, and then you will also allow access to that firewall. Okay, so now we are done with installing the XAMPP as our server. Now what next? So our next step is to install the XAMPP. We are going to install the XAMPP and configure it very, very well. Okay, so what am I going to do first? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to again access my folder and look for the CMS. It stands for the Content Management System, So in this case, I'm going to use WordPress. So you are to extract this WordPress, this zipped file of WordPress, and get an extracted file or folder of this type. So I've already extracted it, and it's already there. And what am I going to do? I'm going to copy this folder, this already extracted folder, and paste it in a special folder. Let me show you that folder. In a special folder, this PC, okay, we again access the local disk C, then XAMPP, then a special folder has a name of htdocs. We open that htdocs, okay, let me minimize, okay, let me put it this side. Then afterwards, I'm going to copy this, don't cut, copy. Reason being, when I cut, I'm going to move. And again, when I want to start maybe another project, I will now again have to first extract again. Okay, so let us just have a copy of this copy, and now let us paste. We paste. Okay, so in a few minutes, I'm going to pause this video. When this file is done with copying, with pasting, I will come back and explain other steps. Okay. Okay, now our now our file is done with pasting. It has been copied successfully. So far, so good. This is our folder. And now, let us begin. Okay, I'm going to create a database. So in creating that database, I'll show you how. First, before doing anything, you give this pasted WordPress file a name that you will remember. And in fact, for easy remembrance, the database you will create, also give it the same name. For example, if you are going to create a website for maybe a given organization, a charity organization, or a school, or a personal website, you can give it a name. If it's a personal website, you can give it your name, or for that particular person's name, okay? So for example, if this website is for maybe John, I will rename this to John. If it's for the school, I will name it okay, for example, maybe it's for Kabale SS. So what will I do? I will just right click and show more options, and then I rename to Kabale, just that. Okay, why? Simply because I want the this file, because later on I will have to call it, to match the database name, which I'm going to create right now. Okay, for example, I will access my web browser. I will add that another link and say localhost. Localhost, you type it there, localhost, you say enter. But before this, there is a common mistake. Don't say that I have not talked about this mistake. Let us see it afterwards, and then we can correct that error afterwards. Okay, so let us proceed. So after seeing this screen, we are going to look for the phpMyAdmin page. You click on the phpMyAdmin. Then afterwards, we are going to create a database. Okay, new. Click on new. Where there is create, you click, and then say, as I've told you, you give it the same name that matches the other name. Okay, so Kabale. Okay, Kabale. For easy remembrance, don't click anywhere, don't do anything else, just click on create. Okay, now we are done. So we are going to call the other file by its name so that we can configure and install the WordPress. Okay, so what I will do is that I will erase all this and leave out only the slash and localhost. Okay, like that, localhost slash, and then say all right Kabale, because my folder is in the names of Kabale. Okay, so we are going to experience an error here. Okay, we are going to see an error, but it can be rectified because it's intentional. This is intentional. Okay, I say enter. Okay, this is the very error. How can we rectify this? You remember when I copied and pasted my WordPress file to the htdocs, okay, here in the back end. So I mean this. Okay, so this very folder, within it has now, okay, another folder which has WordPress. So we were supposed to have this in the names of Kabale, not the other one. Okay, you just right click and rename this to Kabale. Okay, when you are done, okay, cut this out, Ctrl X, go back to htdocs, and now paste, Ctrl V. Okay, now it's done, you see. So if I open this, we are direct on our files again. So come back in our browser, just refresh. Okay, just in few seconds. Okay, now we are good to go. You see? So we can now install. We are using English. Continue. So we take a keen eye on first the database name, the second the database username, and now the database password, the database host. Okay, let's go. So database name, we gave it what? Kabale. It was database what? Name. Then the username, we always give the username, or we let the username to be root. Then the password, we leave out the password and also the database host. So we click the submit button, and now we run the installation. Okay, after running the installation, so remember our website is for Kabale SS, right? So we are going to set our site title to Kabale SS. Now the username, let it also be Kabale. Okay. Yes, you said the username that you remember, Kabale, but it's not a okay. I've left it to be Kabale, but it's not a must that it should be Kabale. You can give it maybe just Kaba, any of your choice. Okay. So let me just give it Kabale in lowercase. Then the password, I can choose to create or use a strong password, because all strong passwords contain first an upper character and a lowercase character, and also special characters, and now numeric values. For example, Kabale at 2024. Okay, Kabale, this case capital, lower cases, special character, and numeric values. Okay, I confirm to use the weak password. And any email can work, like kabale@gmail.com, because it can be changed. Even the site title can be changed. What can be changed is the username. Then we say install WordPress. Okay, we install the WordPress. So after installation, now we have this screen that saying the success. Your WordPress has been installed. So our username is Kabale, and now we know our password. So if if you're working with a machine that is not yours, or you're in the internet cafe, or you're in the computer library of the school, always say not now. Don't save your passwords in the web browser of the machine that is being used by several people for security reasons. Okay, not now. So so far so good. We have installed the server. We have configured it very well with our WordPress. So our next steps were to log in. Okay, we can log in with our username, which is Kabale. Okay, and also our password, which is Kabale at 2024. Let me see. Okay, Kabale at 2024. So on logging in, I can see that okay, we are now successful with logging in. So after seeing this screen, when you are on this screen, just know that you have been able to configure your WordPress very well with the server, and then you will be good to go, or you'll be good to start with the website designing project. Okay, so if you face any challenges with the machine, okay, with the server, installing the server, the WordPress, feel free to comment, because in the comment section I'm waiting for your comments. And also feel free to share, because this video was meant for the teacher and also for that student. Okay, also for freelancers and also for that student who has a machine at home and would like to configure the WordPress by him or herself. Because with WordPress and also the servers will be already installed by your ICT teachers in the computer laboratory, as you already find the Microsoft suite already installed, and now start working with Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel database, etc. So the same applies to this. So as students, don't have to worry. Your teachers will install this for you, and then they also install for you the themes and the plugins. Okay. Okay, so in the next video, we will now start designing our website. So in that video, I will give out some hints on how your website can be done easily, and on how your website can be done with time consciousness. Okay, so I see you in the next video. Thank you very, very much.